Okay guys, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about driving optimization, both accuracy and distance. We've got Mac testing with us today. You talk a lot about your sort of difficulties at times with driving in the past and how you've built a specific shot into your game that's allowed you to play back at a very, very high level without losing distance. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was originally a drawer of the ball, like I am with my irons. Generally, a draw is more comfortable. And then with that, I started hitting blocks a lot. It was something that when I was under the gun in a tournament, I found that I would block cut them. And it was just from not committing to the shot. So to compromise that, I started teeing the ball quite low and then actually hitting like a controlled safety slice, I call it.
Right.
And then I've kind of worked with that safety slice to find a way that I can still get some distance out of it without losing the control. So that's kind of what I've decided to do with it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we go back 15, 20 years. The way equipment was sort of pre-Pro V1, when we had small heads and we had Balata golf balls and stuff like that, we know that the fade really wasn't the efficient, effective shot off the tee. You could probably be more on the accuracy side, but tough to also get the distance with it as well. The modern equipment has really helped us with that, though. It leans into probably playing more of a fade off the tee if it allows you to be more accurate. And some people are more accurate with their draw if that's their release pattern and the way it sets up for their swing. But there are a lot of people who have the setup tendencies and characteristics for a fade, bit open, maybe the shoulders sit a little open, whatever it might be. But they're not taking advantage of the distance component. They may find a lot of fairways, but all of their playing partners hit it past them.
Right.
We're kind of here to show today that that doesn't have to be the case. With a proper optimized delivery and optimized equipment, you can be equally as accurate and, if not, longer than everyone else that you play with at the same speed.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for me, just learning how to remain a positive attack angle with this kind of cut shape, it's allowed me to not sacrifice any distance to my draw. If anything, it probably goes a little further than when I try to draw one now, and I'm able to control it. So it's kind of a win-win.
I love it. Let's start off by giving the audience a representation of a speed that they can probably relate to a little bit more than your speed, which is around 115 when you're probably moving it. It's more like 120-ish even.
Yeah, I think I'm maxed out at about 120 to 125 if I'm going at it, but I've kind of started to gear it down a bit because I found that I'm hitting just as far at 115 and can control it. So it's, but yeah, I'll hit a couple here at like 100.
Let's go at 100. Yeah, I love that.
So my setup here, just kind of walk through it quickly, is I aim quite open, feet, hips, shoulders, everything in line, kind of down the right side. My feel is going to be swinging down my foot line while maintaining kind of hanging behind it a little bit.
Love it. Again, we just done a video on, the king and queen, the king being the face, the queen being the path. The queen tells the king what to do, right? So the path is ultimately here telling the face what it needs to do to hit the shot on target. So by you saying there that you open your body in order to create that rightward path and the open face, that's dictating the shot shape.
Yeah, and then having that open stance, again, gets that hip out of the way. That's my big thing. If I stand closed with driver, I feel like I can't clear my hip.
Yeah.
I get stuck and then I hit block cuts. So it's a no-go there.
Okay, so little tiny baby fade. I mean, you probably swung there, what, 102, 103?
Yeah, I think it was about 103 on that one. Yeah.
Amazing. Lots of golfers out there at 103 miles an hour watching this. A lot, right? People a lot faster than that, but really not many who are carrying the ball 270 yards, swinging 103. I mean, you couldn't be more efficient at that. It does hinge on two things. A very centered strike, that was amazing, absolutely loved that. The upward angle of attack with the maintained delivered loft. I'm not going to say high delivered loft because it's not high relative to the angle of attack. Guys, recently we've been talking a lot about spin loft. You'll hear this term over and over again. We get into talking about the angle of attack, in this case 7.7 up. The upper jaw of the plane is at 21 degrees, 20.9. So our spin loft is in or around, that, call it, 13, little over 13 degrees of spin loft. maintaining that is how you maximize your distance along with that centered strike. Most people look at that and go, why didn't that, slice you cut across at 7.7 degrees? Because you managed your face horizontally and you managed it vertically. So you never allowed it to get too far open, and you never allowed it to get too high, add too much loft. Okay, fantastic. Let's hit a couple more just like that. Beauty. A shot shape that so many people can relate to, but a distance that probably not a lot of people can relate to, right? So you're finding a nice home for the strike right in the middle of the head. Again, guys, key to maximizing distance. 98.6 miles an hour. If we're on quad, if we're on TrackMan, 98.6 on TrackMan is probably around 95. Male average is 94, so we're really talking to the kind of meat of the bell curve here when it's how people deliver the golf club. 5.3 out, 2 in. The face is 3.2 open. It's all about maintaining the high launch, low spin. That's how you're going to maximize the accuracy and the control. You can see how much easier. I mean, even for you, you're probably looking at this going, why don't I just hit a few more bunty drivers out there? Because you can control the strike so well.
No, I feel like it's a shot that I should actually try to incorporate a bit. Seeing this, like it's not something I would have said 20 minutes ago, but it's definitely a good one to have, maybe.
Without a doubt. So, guys, your delivery conditions should not dictate how far your ball goes. If it does, probably your equipment is wrong. Or there's something about that delivery that's not matching up. You can see the formula right here. It's all here in the physics. We've got the path, the face, the angle of attack, and the dynamic loft. That's all you need to understand in order to get that high launch, low spin. Factor in, we're not having to worry about any deflected strikes. We're not having to think about high strikes or low strikes, toe strikes or heel strikes, and how they affect the tilt of the golf ball and anything like that. We're purely looking here at the strike on that. Just for comparison's sake, show us an inefficient one.
Sure.
Show us what you see. I mean, you give a lot of lessons, you do a lot of online lessons. The foundations of the golf swing are always the setup. Show us what you encounter on the lesson tee when it comes to the more inefficient drivers of the golf ball at the same speed.
Yeah, so I find like a lot of people that I teach that are slicers of the ball, they stand open with their shoulder path, but their feet are normally closed off, which creates that steepness, and then they have a hard time having that up attack angle.
Yep.
So what we'll try to do here is create one where something that I would see a lot, which should kick up the spin. We should lose a lot of distance with this with more of a downward strike. Now,
here's the hard bit. Now, you probably need to move the path. So the hard bit is going to be, let's try and get that down while keeping the loft up. So it's going to almost be like...
I got to dump. Yeah, okay. Oof. That would be pretty common flight for
absolutely
most golfers.
Okay, so lots and lots of people relating to Mac here. So we've got the last one, quicker swing.
Yeah.
We were up nearly 4 miles an hour in club head speed. Quite a similar delivery in the dynamic loft, actually slightly less. But here's the big discrepancy, right? That angle of attack really changes the ball flight. So if we go over to the ball, so we've got quite a similar launch angle. It's quite a similar ball speed, but the amount of inefficiency, that's driven from having the spin loft that high, you're losing that valuable 40 yards.
And I mean, for that spin to be at 3,400, that's even with a high toe strike.
Yeah.
So imagine I had caught that where a lot of slicers catch it low in the head,
absolutely.
heely, it would kick up to 4,000 plus, and then it's game over.
No good. So, again, guys, this is talking about you guys at your speed. On the PGA Tour, when you see the shot tracers, we are seeing so many of the players nowadays go into this ball flight, go into the kind of high launch, low spin fade, something that really wasn't, I wouldn't say possible, but I don't think it was as likely to be the kind of preferred shot shape for the longest time. People are always trying to take spin off the driver, so they would hit it right to left. So we're going to get Mac to hit a couple at kind of more like his full speed, and we'll try and recreate some of these tour flights.
And for me, like, I don't swing it as fast as maybe some of, it looks like I swing a lot harder than I am because I kind of flail at it a bit. It's maybe not the best technique-wise, but I maximize a lot of the numbers there, so I get a lot out of a little, essentially.
Exactly. So yeah, you can hit it the same distance as the guys that are maybe 10 miles an hour ball speed quicker. I mean, we see lots of the carry distances this week. I mean, guys hitting at 280 to 300 on the carry, you know, at Augusta. I mean, I think we're going to show here that we can probably do that with a little less speed.
Yeah.
Beauty.
A little thin on that one, but...
A little thin, okay. Speed was nice and high. Let's see that one buttoned. That's the one. You can hear that one in the meat of the head. Much, much nicer launch conditions. There's your 300 in the fly. Nice little green chase. Absolutely love it. And it's what's amazing about this, Mac, is that you are exactly, let me know, we were simulating with that 100 mile an hour club head speed earlier and how we want to make the average swing speed efficient. You've just done this exact same thing at your speed. 116, we're still delivering 20 and a half loft, still 7 up on it. That's how to do it.
Yeah, and for me, something that I practice a lot is gearing it down my speed so I can feel things exaggerated.
Yep.
And when I do add my full speed to it, it feels a little bit more natural to do it.
Absolutely love it. We would take a season supply of those, 3.6 yards offline, flying 304 yards. I mean, guys, if you wanted to know how to be accurate, how to hit it long, you have the recipe, you have the formula. Save this video, you know, bookmark it in your sort of library so you can always come back to it. Because if you're wondering why you're losing distance, one of the principles we've spoke about in this video is off. It might be your angle of attack is a little more down. It might be that your delivered loft's a little high. It might be that you're not hitting in the middle of the club. It's going to be one of those three key factors is why you're losing some distance. So hopefully you can take something from it. We wanted to do it at a little bit slower speed so we can just, you know, so we're not just showing it's just Mac at his speed. That's why he hits it so far. It's how he delivers the club that allows him to hit it that far, and you guys can too. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon.